My brothers, my sisters, let me begin by asking you a question. What do you do when life hits you so hard that you feel like you can't breathe, when nothing makes sense anymore and all the doors you were counting on suddenly slam shut in your face? Let me tell you something. Hardship is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your transformation. There are people walking this earth with pain in their hearts, wounds no one sees, tears no one hears. And they ask, why me? But let's be very clear, just because you're going through hardship doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean Allah is punishing you. In fact, the Prophet said, the most severely tested people are the prophets, then the righteous. Termid, he if tests were a punishment, why would the most beloved to Allah go through them the most? Hardship is a divine filter. It purifies you, strengthens you, and brings you back to the one who never left you, even when you drifted. Patience isn't just gritting your teeth and waiting for it to pass. It's not burying your emotions. It's knowing deep down, my Lord is fully aware, my Lord is in control, my Lord never makes mistakes. When the Prophet stood at the grave of his son Ibrahim, he cried. He was in pain, but he said, the eyes shed tears, the heart feels pain, but we say only what pleases Allah. That is real patience. You don't have to act like you're fine, but hold on to faith, even when your heart is trembling. That's strength. That's Sabr. Sometimes we think, what's the point of making dua? Nothing is changing. But let me ask you, did you ever think the dua was changing you? Your soul, your character, your connection with Allah? Allah hears you every whisper, every sigh, even the duas you make with your tears. And Allah is never in a rush. He knows the perfect moment to give you what's best, or to replace it with something even better. So don't stop making dua. It's not a ritual, it's a lifeline. My brothers, my sisters. One of the greatest misconceptions we carry often without realizing it is the idea that if life becomes difficult, if trials come knocking on our doors, or if pain starts filling our days, then surely something is wrong with us. Maybe we've sinned too much. Maybe we've disappointed our Lord. Maybe we're being punished. But let's pause and ask, is hardship always a punishment? Look at the lives of the prophets, not just the Prophet Muhammad, but Nuh, Musa, Ibrahim, Ayyub, Yusuf, and Isa, peace be upon them all. These are the most beloved chosen servants of Allah, and yet, what do we see? We see rejection, we see exile, we see illness, we see betrayal by family, abandonment by society. We see hunger, fear, and immense loss. Were they being punished? No, they were being refined, elevated, honored, prepared. This is where we need to shift our mindset. Hardship is not always a curse. Sometimes it's the most beautiful form of care. Sometimes it is the mercy of Allah wrapped in temporary pain that is meant to wake you, shake you, and remake you. If every time things go wrong we start doubting our worth or assuming Allah is angry with us, we will constantly live in fear, guilt, and spiritual exhaustion. But Allah does not operate the way people do. He does not give based on appearances, nor does He withhold out of cruelty. He gives tests to strengthen hearts. He allows difficulty to expose weakness, not to humiliate you, but so you can fix what's broken before it's too late. When Allah tests you, it doesn't always mean you did something wrong. It might just mean you're loved, you're noticed, you're being polished like a diamond under pressure. Don't we admire people with strong faith? Don't we look up to those who remain calm, grateful, and grounded when the world crumbles around them? Where do you think that strength comes from? It comes from being tested. It comes from knowing that pain is not permanent, but it is powerful. When a student is given a tough exam, it's not to destroy them, it's to promote them, but only if they stay in the exam room, only if they don't walk out, only if they don't give up. In the same way, your hardships are your exam paper. Will you panic, or will you pray? Will you collapse, or will you call upon your Lord? Will you run away, or will you run to Allah? The one who survives hardship is not the one who has all the answers, or never falls, or never cries. It is the one who, despite everything, still turns back to Allah, and sometimes that's exactly why the hardship came to turn you back, to clean your heart, to take away what you thought you needed and give you what you truly need, a closer bond with your Creator. So no, hardship is not a punishment, it is a divine invitation, an invitation to reflect, to reconnect, to rebuild from the inside out, and that realization is the beginning of survival, my brothers, my sisters. When hardship strikes, when life begins to unravel, when your plans fall apart, when you lose someone you love, when you're faced with something you never imagined, the very first quality that Allah commands from us is sabr, patience. But what is sabr? Is it simply sitting still and pretending everything is okay? Is it smiling through pain while your heart is breaking inside? Is it silence? No, patience is much more than that. Sabr is strength, it's emotional discipline, it's spiritual resilience. It's the quiet defiance of a believer who whispers, even in this pain, I trust my Lord. Patience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you never cry or break down. The Prophet Muhammad, the most patient of all creation, stood over the grave of his infant son Ibrahim and wept. His eyes filled with tears, his heart was heavy. And yet he said, the eyes shed tears, the heart feels sorrow, but we say only that which pleases Allah. That is sabr. It is not about suppressing emotions, it's about guiding them. It's not the absence of struggle, it's the presence of submission to Allah. You see, patience is not weakness. In fact, it is one of the highest forms of strength. The Prophet told us, patience is a light. Muslim, why a light? Because when you're surrounded by the darkness of grief, fear, confusion, and loss, patience becomes the lamp that helps you keep walking. It shows you that the pain is not permanent, that there is still meaning, that Allah is still with you, and that every second you endure with faith is not wasted. It's recorded, it's rewarded. Patience is not just a moment. It's a process. It starts when the trial begins, but it continues every day after, in your thoughts, in your choices, in the way you speak to yourself and others. Sabr is not something you have. It's something you practice, something you nurture. And here's the reality, it's not always easy. Sometimes you'll feel like you're running out of sabr. Sometimes you'll wonder, how long do I have to keep waiting? But remember, you're not waiting on people. You're not even waiting on life to go back to normal. You are waiting on Allah's timing, and Allah's timing is never wrong. You might be waiting for healing. You might be waiting for justice. You might be waiting for a door to open. But with every breath you take in patience, you're rising, you're protected, because patience is a shield not just from the world, but from your own despair. It keeps your heart from collapsing. It holds you together when everything else is falling apart. It reminds you, I don't understand what's happening, but I believe in the one who does. And sometimes that's all you need to survive. Let me remind you of this. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. Quran 2:286. So if Allah has brought you to it, He knows you have the strength to get through it, even if you can't see it, even if you feel like you're breaking, because maybe what's breaking is not your strength. Maybe what's breaking is your ego, your illusion of control, your attachment to what was never meant for you, and in that breaking, you're being reshaped, softened, realigned. That's what sabr does. It transforms pain into purification. It turns difficulty into elevation. It turns silence into trust. So be patient, not because the situation is easy, but because your Lord is greater than the situation. My brothers, my sisters, in the middle of your hardship, when your soul feels heavy, when the nights seem endless, and when the world doesn't offer answers, what do you have? You have dua, not just a ritual, not just words, but a weapon, a lifeline, a bridge between your brokenness and the mercy of the one who never breaks. There will come a time, maybe it has already come, when you will feel too tired to talk to people. When explanations no longer make sense, when advice feels hollow and comfort feels far, but you will still have the ability to raise your hands, even if only in silence. And that moment, that quiet, trembling plea that no one hears but Allah, that is strength. You see, dua is not only something you do when you've exhausted all other options. Dua is the first and most powerful tool you have. It's not the backup plan, it's the main plan. The Prophet said, dua is worship. Term mid, he not part of worship, it is worship. Why? Because nothing displays your humility, your faith, your neediness before Allah like the act of dua. Dua says, Ya Allah, I am weak, but you are strong, I am lost, but you see clearly, I am nothing, but you are everything. It is in dua that your heart softens. It is in dua that tears become a form of healing. It is in dua that your soul rises above this world and connects directly with its creator. But here's the truth. Many people stop making dua because they don't see results. They think Allah isn't answering, that he's distant, silent, but that's a misunderstanding of what dua is. Dua is never wasted. Sometimes Allah gives you exactly what you ask for immediately. Sometimes he delays it because the timing isn't right. Sometimes he gives you something better than what you asked, and sometimes, and this is a mercy, he withholds what you want because it would have harmed you in ways you can't yet understand. Allah sees the full picture. You only see a piece, and he knows. If you saw what he sees, you would choose exactly what he has chosen for you, even when your duas feel desperate. They're heard even when your voice shakes. It's honored. Even when your dua is made in a whisper, in the dead of night, when everyone else is asleep, Allah hears. Allah never gets tired of hearing you. People do. People get annoyed, people get overwhelmed, people lose interest. But Allah, he loves when you turn to him. He loves the voice of his servant calling upon him again and again. Don't worry about repeating yourself. Don't worry about sounding desperate. Don't worry if you don't know the most eloquent words. Allah understands what's in your heart before it reaches your tongue. He is closer than your jugular vein, closer than your own thoughts. Even if all you say is, Ya Allah, help me. Even if your dua is made through tears alone, without words. It still reaches him, it still matters, it still counts. Never stop making dua, especially in hardship, because it's in that pain, when the heart is raw, that your dua carries a special weight. The Prophet said that the dua of the distressed is never rejected, especially when made with sincerity and certainty. So pour your heart out. Complain to Allah not in a disrespectful way, but in the way of Yaqub Jacob, when he lost his beloved son Yusuf. He said, I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah. Quran 12:86. That kind of dua is not a weakness. It is the highest form of strength, because it means you trust no one more than your Lord. It means you believe he is listening, and it means you still have hope even when the world has given you none. So keep making dua, in your sujud, in your silence, in your tears. Make dua when you're strong, and especially when you're weak. When you're grateful, and especially when you're broken, because in dua you are never alone. My brothers, my sisters, there are moments in life when the silence becomes so loud that it drowns out every voice of comfort. Moments when the pain inside your chest feels like it has no space left to grow, yet it keeps growing. Moments when you look around and it seems no one notices, no one understands, and no one truly cares. It's in those moments that Shaitan whispers, you're alone, forgotten, left behind. No one sees your struggle, no one hears your cries. But that is a lie. Because the one who created you, the one who shaped your heart, who sees your soul, who knows you better than you know yourself, he is fully aware, always, constantly, perfectly. Allah says in the Quran, indeed Allah is ever watchful over you. Quran 4:1. Not sometimes. Not when you're in a masjid, not only when you're strong, always. He knows the burden you're carrying that you don't talk about. He knows the worries that keep you awake at night. He knows the silent battles you fight when no one else is looking. Even if you don't share it with your closest friend, even if you're too afraid, too exhausted, or too ashamed to speak it out loud, Allah already knows, not just what's happening around you, but what's happening inside you. He is Al-Kabir, the one fully acquainted with every detail. He is As-Sami, the one who hears even the footsteps of an ant in the dark. He is Al-Basir, the one who sees not just your tears, but the reasons behind them. People might misjudge you. They might say you're fine because you smile. They might say you're strong because you don't complain. But Allah sees past the mask. He sees what no human eye can see. He sees your truth. And that awareness, that divine attention, is not cold, distant, or indifferent. It is the most compassionate, most understanding, most loving awareness you could ever imagine. Allah does not see your pain to ignore it. He sees it to respond to it. He sees it so that not even a second of your struggle is wasted. He sees it to remind you that you were never meant to carry it alone. Let's remember the story of Maryam Mary. When she was in labor alone under a palm tree, physically and emotionally overwhelmed, what happened? A voice called out to her, "Do not grieve." Quran 19:24. Think about that. In her loneliest moment, Allah sent her reassurance. Why? Because He knew, He saw, He cared. That is the same Lord you and I worship. Even when you feel like no one in this dunya understands your situation, your heartache, your stress, your anxiety, Allah understands it fully. He knows what you want to say, even when you can't find the words. He knows what you're hoping for, even when you feel too broken to hope. He knows how tired you are, how much you're holding back, how much you've endured. And not a single sigh, not a single tear, not a single heartbreak is missed by Him. Sometimes people make you feel unseen. They walk past your pain. They forget your kindness. They don't notice your efforts. But Allah never overlooks a single act, a single sacrifice, a single moment of sincerity. He is Ash-Shakur, the most appreciative. He is Aman, the most merciful. He is Al-Wad, the most loving. So even when the world seems quiet, Allah is listening. Even when your hands are empty, Allah is preparing. Even when your heart is shattered, Allah is near. You are not alone. You were never alone. You will never be alone, my brothers, my sisters. When you're in the middle of a storm, it feels endless. When life is falling apart, when the pain is sharp and your heart is exhausted, it seems as though it will never get better. You tell yourself, this is it. This is where I break. This is where it all ends. But let me tell you something. Even the darkest night is followed by dawn. Even the heaviest rain eventually stops. And no storm lasts forever. Yes, you may feel like you're drowning right now. Yes, it may seem like relief is nowhere in sight. But the very nature of hardship, the very way Allah has designed trials, is that they are temporary. They come with an expiry date. They are not meant to stay. They are meant to shake you, not sink you. Allah tells us in the Quran, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shar 94:6. Notice something powerful in this verse. Allah does not say after hardship comes ease. He says with it, at the very same time you are going through pain, ease is being created alongside it. You might not see it yet. You might not feel it yet, but it's there, like the light hiding behind the clouds. It could be in the form of a person Allah sends to support you. It could be in the peace you start feeling despite the chaos. It could be in the quiet strength that grows inside you while you wait. Ease doesn't always mean your problem disappears. It means you are given what you need to survive it. You see, when you're in pain, it feels like time slows down. Every day is heavy. Every hour is long. You think to yourself, I've been suffering forever. But in the grand scheme of your life, and especially in the grand scheme of the hereafter, this moment of hardship is just a page, not the whole book. Even the people we admire most in the Quran, the prophets, the righteous, they all went through prolonged periods of difficulty. Think of Yusuf. He was thrown into a well, sold as a slave, and unjustly imprisoned. Years passed, but when the time was right, Allah raised him to a position of power, dignity, and reunion. Think of Ayub. He lost everything, his wealth, his health, his children, but he never lost his connection to Allah. And when the hardship ended, and it did end, Allah gave him back more than he had lost. Their stories are not there to decorate the Quran. They are there to remind you, if they could go through that and come out stronger, so can you. Sometimes what hurts the most is the feeling that nothing is changing, that you've made dua for months, maybe even years, and there's no sign of relief. But remember, just because you can't see the change doesn't mean it's not happening. Sometimes Allah is preparing the relief in ways you can't yet perceive. Sometimes He's not just working on your situation, He's working on you, building your patience, expanding your heart, tearing down what was false so He can replace it with something true. And when that ease comes, and it will come, you'll look back and realize that the pain wasn't pointless, that the delay wasn't denial, that the storm made you stronger than you ever imagined. The hardship you're going through today might just be the thing that saves your hereafter. It might be the very reason you grow in humility, in prayer, in gratitude. It might be what softens your heart and recenters your life, because Allah does not test you without purpose, and He does not leave you in hardship without preparing the relief. And when He promises ease, know with absolute certainty it is on the way. Maybe not in the way you expected, maybe not in the timing you had in mind, but in the way that is best for you, both now and forever. So hold on, even if by a thread, even if all you can do today is breathe and whisper, "Ya Allah, I'm still here." Because as long as you're holding on to Him, the storm may roar, but it can never destroy you. Would you like the final keynote expanded? Grow through what you go through, my brothers, my sisters. Pain has a way of introducing you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. It strips away the noise. It humbles your pride, it opens your heart in a way that comfort never could, and if there's one truth about hardship that many overlook, it's this: you were never meant to just go through it, you were meant to grow through it. You see, we often think the purpose of a trial is to be endured, to be survived, and yes, survival is part of it, but that's not the whole story. When Allah places you in hardship, when He tests you with pain, disappointment, betrayal, loss, or uncertainty, it's not just a matter of waiting it out. It's an opportunity to learn something, to awaken something inside you, to change, to elevate, to return, because not every pain comes to hurt you. Some pain comes to teach you. Some pain comes to fix you. Some pain comes to break what was destroying you. Think about it. When do people truly reflect? When do they ask the big questions about life, purpose, and the hereafter? Usually, it's not when everything is going well. It's when they're hit by something that shakes their world, something that stops their plans and forces them to look upward. That pause, that inner silence is where growth begins. Sometimes the very trial you're begging Allah to remove is the one that's removing arrogance from your heart. It's the one washing your sins, purifying your intentions, drawing you away from this dunya and bringing you closer to Jannah. So many people look back years later and say, that hardship was the turning point of my life. That heartbreak brought me to the prayer mat. That loss made me call upon Allah like I never had before. That disappointment protected me from a disaster I didn't see coming. This is what happens when you grow through what you go through, and that growth, that transformation doesn't happen all at once. It might begin with frustration, with anger, with confusion. That's okay. Even prophets like Musa expressed fear. Even Maryam wished for death during her moment of weakness, but they didn't stop there. They turned to Allah in their most fragile moments, and that's when growth unfolded. Because growth is not the absence of pain. Growth is when you allow the pain to deepen your connection with Allah, to widen your perspective, to shift your priorities, to shape your character, to soften your heart. Some people come out of hardship bitter, resentful, and angry at the world. Others come out wiser, gentler, more empathetic, and more sincere in their worship. The difference, they didn't just go through it. They grew through it. They asked, what is Allah teaching me? How is He protecting me through this delay? What weakness is being exposed in me that I need to work on? What part of me needs to change and what part needs to be strengthened? And these are questions we must all ask when trials come, because Allah does not waste pain. He doesn't allow hardship to reach you, except that there's a higher reason behind it. It might be to cleanse your soul. It might be to guide you away from harm. It might be to prepare you for a greater mission, or it might be to remind you that you were made for more than this dunya. Whatever it is, know that you have a choice in every trial, to let it harden you, or to let it humble you, to close your heart, or to open it to Allah like never before. Growth is not loud. It doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it's hidden in your quiet decision to keep praying, even when you feel spiritually low. Sometimes it's in your ability to forgive someone who hurt you. Sometimes it's in holding your tongue, lowering your gaze, giving up a sin, or simply showing up when your soul is tired. Every small act of resistance against despair. Every silent choice to surrender to Allah's will. Every time you hold on instead of giving up. That is growth. That is strength. That is faith. Would you like me to now compile the entire expanded speech into a printable or shareable format such as PDF, Word docx, or PowerPoint for delivery?